Hello and welcome to Reggie's podcast number 6. I am your host Reggie, and if the Marvel Universe truly existed and Black Widow looked like Scarlett Johansson, she could kick my ass any day. That being said, welcome James, Enrique.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I have come to chew bubblegum and podcast, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
What's going on in the world of the True Believers world?
Well, James, I'll let you start off that one.
What's going on in our world?
What's going on in your
Well,
world?
we got that theme song, right?
Yeah. Well, we got
We have a lot of changes that we're trying to do
Yeah.
to the format. We still have that website that we sort of started and haven't figured out how to finish.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is just due to time.
Both
like
of us have jobs. And
drug addictions and you name it.
And
prostitution
other addictions you were talking about before we started recording?
Oh yeah,
But we're not going there.
I think
we could.
The fun thing is we have a lot of topics we want to talk about. We just have to get together. And so
Right.
there's a lot of
I
changes.
I feel your pain.
We have a lot of pain that is easily felt.
Yeah. But when this airs, we'll probably at least have one more up.
Will we?
I hope so. It's my goal to at least have one more up, and because we have a special guest that's going to come in through town.
Oh, is
and
it Schaefer?
It's Schaefer, and we'll probably do one with him when he comes into town.
I was going to say, could you reveal your special guest, but since you already said...
It's a teaser.
Yeah.
It's a teaser, and James ruined it.
I was going to say, if you're going to have the great one on, you got to let me know, but...
Not yet.
Okay.
Stanley is not returning my emails. I'm doing Twitter tag with Lou Ferrigno right now, and it's just awful. I'm trying to get him nailed down.
Well, at the time of this recording, we're less than a week away from basically kicking off the summer movie season, if you want to say, with Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
That's coming out this year?
Yes. Imagine that.
James doesn't have a TV.
Imagine that, a summer with a superhero movie in it. Who would have thought?
I think for the next, decade, we're going to have a superhero.
Well,
Next 4 years.
They're already talking about how after Avengers 3, probably decade, but after Avengers 3, they're talking about Robert Downey Jr. probably won't be back.
Yeah.
And they might try to do like a Roger Moore Iron Man, but I think by that point people might be sick of the whole superhero thing.
Well, I don't think they'll be sick of the superhero thing. I think they'll be sick of Iron Man. I think it's smart, like after how many movies superhero movies has he been in? I think
5 if you count the Hulk.
Right. And so now I think it's getting to the point where it's like maybe we should lay off, let them continue with the plan of like phase 2 or whatever, with the lesser known or kind of B comic book characters kind of
Well, I
take
think
over.
phase 3 is going to be the lesser known one.
Yeah. I think they should stick with that. I like seeing kind of the one-shot comic book hero movies where like with the Ant-Man I think is going to be good, Guardians of the Galaxy, because it's stuff that really people don't know about, and so how can you screw that up too much? It's just an action-adventure
Well, that's the
fantasy
way
movie.
Iron Man was. I mean, you can go back to that. I mean, yeah, they had the core list of characters with Pepper and Rhodey and Happy and whatever. But you can go back to Iron Man and say they really didn't follow the comics hardly at all from day one. And that's okay because Iron Man comics really aren't that great. Like, let's be honest here. They're just kind of...
But I think it's smart, like, if we don't see an Iron Man, like, in 6 years, I don't think that's a big deal.
Well, the problem with that is there are people who are called executive producers, and they're worried about money, they're worried about toys, and what has been the highest one of the highest grossing series, that's Iron Man. So
But-
they're going to try.
right.
They're going to try
But
to fill his shoes.
Oh,
and
definitely,
it's going to, if it fails, then it might go away. Right now, we're kind of going through with superheroes what we went through kind of in the 70s when they revived the whole Western thing. Eventually, it'll implode. But right now, we're kind of in the heat of it where it's really getting good.
No, I agree with you. But I think something will take Iron Man's place.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if it's Ant-Man or
No.
Black Panther, or something will take it if they do it right.
Now I've read where some say the Guardians of the Galaxy could be Marvel's first risk since the first Iron Man.
Yeah,
you guys
I
think
would
that,
agree with that.
You
I
guys
would
think
agree
that's
with
true?
that. I would agree with that. Thor was kind of a risk, maybe, but this is the first real risk they've had since Iron Man. Well,
I can see that's a
Avengers
risk.
in and of itself was a risk, like getting that whole thing going.
Having that
but-
many popular characters in one movie.
Well, getting getting all of those movies to connect
the
to each other.
actors
Yeah,
and-
that's a risk in and of itself.
But I
Like,
think they
that was
pulled it off.
something that was something. If you go and look at the history of that, getting all of those, I forget which banks it was, but getting all of those banks to finance that was really difficult because it was something that had never been done before. But I do agree. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy as a movie is probably the first risk since Iron Man.
What do you guys think of the trailer? I know you guys have probably seen him.
Looks fun.
Yeah, that's the first word I think of. Fun. It looks
Yeah.
fun. It looks exciting. It looks like
They're maybe not taking it too serious, but serious enough to.
exactly.
Well, they shouldn't take it too serious. It's a freaking comic book. Like, I mean, take it seriously, but also have fun with it.
There's going to be some great actors that are going to be in it. John C. Reilly. What's that lady's name? Glenn Close is in it.
Is she really?
Yeah.
She played Cruella DeVille.
No, I can't remember the name. Like Prime One or something.
Really?
She's a high up in Nova Corps.
It's so funny how they're like all of these old actors are like.
There's money because there's money
Yeah,
in those movies.
yeah.
They'll throw money at those people to
Yeah.
do it.
Right, and
Vin Diesel.
and Chris Pratt,
Chris Pratt.
he's going to be busy because he's getting ready to start filming on Jurassic Park World
Yeah.
or Jurassic World or whatever the hell they're calling
I'm
it.
not sure how I feel about that, honestly. The whole
I-
Jurassic,
I think-
I think they need to, like you kind of told me about it, and
Well, yeah.
it doesn't sound good.
I'm not a Jurassic Park nerd like Reggie is. But,
Well, here's the deal. So far there's only been one good Jurassic Park movie.
and that was the first one.
Yeah, and it was based on the book. With the Lost World, see, Michael Crichton had no intention of making a sequel. In the book, they blow up the island. They kill all the dinosaurs and blow it up. They don't do that on the movie, but Steven Spielberg is pressured him to write a second book. So he did, and that's why there's that Site B island. It's basically the no, there is another sort of thing.
Okay.
And it's just stupid.
Well-
It's like, oh, you mean there is this other island with dinosaurs? Okay. And the funny part is, Spielberg barely even followed the book for the second one. Like, he pressured him to write this one, and he doesn't even really follow it. But and then the third one, it's like, let's bring in a Spinosaurus for some reason. Like,
Well, according to what I read, Chris Pratt, his thing was when he signed, he read the script, and his thing was he asked the director, I don't remember who the director is for this movie. Okay, why should I do this? What's the reason behind it? Shouldn't people have learned their lessons the first 3 times? And after reading the script,
Yeah.
he felt that the director, who also basically wrote the script, basically found a unique and interesting way of doing a fourth one. Kind of, we know we've screwed up in the first 3 type of things. Why would you want to keep going back? He liked it well enough and thought it was done well enough he went ahead, and that's why he said he agreed to do it. But
the thing is, whenever actors say stuff like that, I always think of, like, a lot. Like, I have one of my friends on Facebook is this girl who is selling some crazy, like, face lotion thing that's supposed to get rid of wrinkles, and every post is like, this is amazing, and there's research, and it's like, whenever actors say stuff like that, it's like, you're just a salesman at that point. Like, I mean, I'm not, but you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Like, they're going to sell their
yeah,
movie.
they're going to sell it.
But I also see there's some actors you can believe. I don't know.
Can you? Aren't they actors? Isn't that the
By the way, how is that face lotion doing for you?
yeah. Wonders? Wonders.
You look younger.
I thank you.
What are you,
Thank
40
you.
and you look 35?
I'm flipping Enrique off right now. I don't know. No, I'm neither 40 nor 35.
So with from what I've gathered from the Winter Soldier and from what I had to read up on the Winter Soldier through the internet for his storyline, will they go the route of what they did in the comics?
None of these movies have really followed them to a T.
I
Like,
mean,
I'm
to a
sure
point
there's
of
gonna
maybe
it's going to be Bucky.
right.
They've already ruined that. Marvel
Well,
did.
yeah.
They've already
Well, no,
spoiled
I
it.
meant.
Well,
I
I
meant
mean, it's the same actor. How can you
Right.
not spoil
Right.
that?
Well, they even went. There was an hour-long TV show on ABC one day, and they went ahead and said it. Oh, it's Bucky, and he was brainwashed, and I was like, oh dear, that's kind of a lot to give away.
But if it's the same actor, you just got to be honest. You can't
Yeah.
pretend like this is going to be a surprise.
well, I mean, rather than actor, because supposedly that guy has been signed by Marvel to do 9 total movies.
which is
Oh, wow.
insane.
And which the first Captain America and this one, it counts as 2 of those 9.
Wow.
And so that's the reason why I asked if they would go the route of the comics, since they know the guy currently playing Captain America after Avengers 3, he wants to basically leave acting. I mean, is Marvel trying to cover their ass basically for Captain America?
It could be, because I know in the comic books, the Winter Soldier actually takes
Captain America's place.
Oh,
for a
really?
while. Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until I sit there and use the
Yeah.
Google and found Marvel's whatever, and there was a big old long
But
write
that
up.
would be silly to have him replace him and then pretend like, since Chris Evans retires from acting or whatever, they replace him and then like, oh, this is the new Captain America. But we all know it's Bucky.
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't we just, I don't know. It's going to be weird. I think that's going to turn people off
I don't know.
to have it. I mean, I don't know. In order not to sound selfish, I would think it'd be stupid for him to retire when this is kind of like he's just making money now.
Right.
I mean, he's making lots of money, hand over fist, and to retire in the middle of it, I think would be silly.
Oh yeah.
But he's staying on through Avengers 3, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Like,
Yes.
How many
I
movies?
haven't
do you
looked at
need?
his contract.
How many movies do you need? I don't know.
40. I need 40.
What do you? And this is probably going to turn into the rumor hour, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's what our show is.
The-
Enrique, oh, did you hear Shocker's gonna be in the next? Like, God, typical journalist. Just-
I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a thing about one report says it's true, the other report says it's not true. But since Disney finally got the complete movie rights to make more Indiana Jones movies,
I did see this.
there's like 2 or 3 different things out there. One says that Harrison Ford is signing to do Episode 7 because he got a deal to do 2 more Indiana Jones movies with Disney. Then there's another report saying Disney's looking to possibly replace Harrison Ford if he's not able up to doing it by the time they get around to actually doing another Indiana Jones movie. And then the third one says none of that's true.
I wonder when we will ever be able to make a new series, an original series. Like,
think
I
don't
think
it's
Hollywood's
possible.
lost its
Well,
originality.
I don't think it's even Hollywood's fault because there have been attempts to make new series and people just don't go to them.
Yeah. Or they do just, they're out of curiosity and then.
But they don't make
See
the
how
money. They don't
horrible
make
it
the
is.
money
Yeah.
that the others do.
The problem with the Indiana Jones thing was the Crystal Skull kind of
That's a
screwed
terrible
everything
movie.
up.
I mean, it really is.
Because they should have replaced Dr. Jones in that one. As like he was passing the torch. The problem was Shia LaBeouf.
Is
Everyone
awful.
hates him. Yeah, everyone does not like him on a personal level, which is sad.
Right.
What would have been nice is if they would have had like the guy from Firefly. What's it, Nathan?
Fillion.
Yeah, I think that would be a good replacement for Indiana Jones. He's got this sounds really weird, but he's got the looks. He's ruggedly handsome, and he's strong, and he's got it at that age where.
You've been watching too much Castle.
Yeah, I am. Sorry, but he's also got that kind of that smart ass thing going for him.
Right.
I know the
And he's at
viewers,
that age
the
where, like,
listeners
he'd be a
can't
good
see
replacement.
this, but Enrique's pants have just dropped at this point.
But he's
Well-
at that age where I think he'd be a good replacement for Indiana Jones. I don't
Right.
know how they would do that because I thought Shia LaBeouf was way too young.
Right.
for
And
that
Roy
part.
too awful.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
at-
I'm
I don't think he was
sorry,
awful.
but
And-
I'm sorry, but he's
Why are you
awful.
sorry?
I'm not sorry.
And my personal thing is if they're
Plagiarist.
I mean, if they're going to replace Harrison Ford, which at some point, if you want to continue Indiana Jones franchise, you're going to have to. Why make another movie with Harrison Ford? As much as I would love to see him do a good Indiana Jones movie before he stops acting or whatever it
Or
is.
stops living.
Well, whatever the case. But if you're going to replace him, you might as well just do it before you even make a
Right.
5th one. And to me, if you replace him, you have the opportunity to set the character back again in the 1930s, in that era where I think the character and those movies work best.
Kind of like prequel.
Not necessarily prequels. You could set them back far enough back before there, but you don't necessarily have to call them prequels. I mean, shoot, they've rebooted James Bond how many times with different actors
Yeah.
in a certain sense. So
I think-
I think the audience would buy it. It's just a matter of the actor you get and the scripts they produce. I
Exactly.
mean, if they're going to produce Crystal Skull again, that type of script, doesn't matter who actor is doing it. It's going to bomb. And one name that came up was Bradley Cooper, which I mean, he'd be all
I don't
right.
think he's old enough.
Yeah, he's old enough to
Do you
do
think
it.
he is?
I think he's old enough because I posted one of Harrison Ford when he was doing one of the Indiana Jones movies, and then just a normal picture of Bradley Cooper, and he's got that scruff going on. He could,
I could see
in the
that.
right in that outfit, he could pull it off, I think. But then again, it bases on the script, and Disney said the earliest any one of those movies would ever come out would be 2016, 2017
Jeez.
at the soonest.
James will be dead way before then.
Well, I think Disney's got bigger cash cows they're more worried about right now than they are
Star
Indiana
Wars
Jones.
and-
Star
yeah,
Wars
yeah.
for one which is another.
Now the old cast from Star Wars is supposed to.
Yeah, see,
come
that's
in,
a
at least
whole-
as cameos.
That's a whole nother set of rumors because depending on what you want to believe and what you read on what week,
Yeah.
I mean there is a list of supposedly Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher are supposed to be back.
That would be awesome,
And
even
the
if it's just for a cameo.
Here's the
And,
problem.
and here's the thing: the original writer that they had hired to write Episode 7, which also wrote Toy Story 3, J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, or how you pronounce his last name, the guy who basically wrote Empire for Lucas, basically tossed that guy out. They said it was because of time constraint and they wanted to polish it up. Well, then it later came out saying there was a difference. This guy that they hired had basically the original 3 main characters as basically cameos, and Abrams wanted to see more of a substantial role for those guys. Not necessarily pulling the entire load of the movie, but he wanted more than just a little quick here, and maybe there, and that's it.
He wanted it to be like Spock in Star Trek.
I don't know. But anyway, so supposedly that's the reason why they threw that guy out, and those guys have taken over the writing to give the original 3 more time to kind of like my take is kind of like with Alex Guinness and Peter Cushing in the first Star Wars.
Okay.
You know, the
Yeah,
Obi-Wan,
yeah.
they got 2 main actors, older known actors to be in the movie.
Yeah.
They played a major role, but they weren't necessarily the holding it all down.
I can see that.
So I think that's where they're going. There's also other rumors that 3PO is going to be back, but then again, you can do 3PO with anybody and
Yeah.
just have Anthony Daniels voice it.
Exactly. The
But-
problem I see with bringing those characters back is, first off, they're old.
Right.
Secondly, the only real decent actor was Harrison Ford. What other movies has Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher?
Well, Mark
really
Hamill's
been
done a lot, but just not
But
on screen.
I don't think on the level to what we think. I think it's going to come off. They're going to look old. They're going to look fat.
But it's like.
But then
but
again,
it is
they-
like 30 years later in the story.
Yeah,
They're
right.
Jedis,
They-
though. They don't have.
No,
they're
only
Jedis.
Luke was a Jedi,
No.
and he was
30
barely a
30
Jedi.
this-
No, you fool. Leia was a Jedi too.
Well,
No, she wasn't.
She was.
she's Luke's sister.
So
She has
she has
ability-
high
Jedi.
metachlorians, but that doesn't make
Well,
her a
in the
Jedi.
in the books, after years down the road, in
yeah, but
all
the
the
books are like, aren't they like a level C canon according to George Lucas?
So Reggie, you read the books, right?
I've got 30 some books of Star
Okay,
Wars.
I've
at
read
home.
the books
Jeez.
right after the ones that returned, and she was a Jedi.
Yeah, Luke began training
High
her.
five on
I never read the books. I'm sorry.
Luke did begin training her, and she is a Jedi at one point. I don't think she's the level of Jedi of what
Right.
Luke is, or nor does she
But
go
she's
around
not
using
fat.
it. You know, I look at it as I think J.J. Abrams is trying to give the fans a better note on Star Wars than
Yeah.
what Lucas left
Yeah.
with the prequels. And if he wants to bring in the other 3, even for a major role, than more than a cameo, I'm all right with that. I'll wait to see the movie before I,
I mean,
judge.
who cares if they're old? Like
Yeah.
they're going
I
to
do.
play old.
They're
going to play
they're-
older versions
and
of
from
themselves.
And from what I read,
Nope.
most of the movie is basically they're only really going to be, with the exception of maybe Mark Hamill, in the first episode 7 because
Yeah.
they're setting up for their kids
Yeah.
as the younger actors to take over the primary duties in 8 and 9. So my guess is they're trying to find a segue of kind of like they did in the first Star Wars, where
Yeah.
I think they're trying to do that.
Torch is being passed.
Torch is being passed, and
As long as they do that,
right.
instead of like an Indiana Jones, that they have like an actual scene where like, okay, these guys are in the past. We're going ahead with the future of
yeah,
this franchise.
Yeah.
And they need
Well, it
like,
sounds like that's what they're doing.
yeah. I hope so.
Well, I mean,
Are they following the books?
supposedly they're not supposed to be following the book, but from what I keep reading, it's like they've got to be looking at something a little bit of the books
Oh, I'm
because
sure they're getting some inspiration.
because they're doing it almost sounds like one of the series they did in the books, although they're saying they're not doing any of the books because the pressure from the fans is if you're going to follow the books, the fans want them all to do the three books from Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy, but that's only set 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Was this 9?
And these are supposed to be set 30 years
30
after.
years. Oh, I'm sorry.
That has been confirmed by Disney.
Yeah. I was
Disney-
way off.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. Disney said that the only thing they've officially released is R2's only one officially in the cast, which he's not even real.
Yeah.
And then it's also 30 years
It's
after,
real.
and then it's
Well,
set
I mean,
30 years
and
after
that
Return.
works because it's 30 years after the original series,
Right.
So
Okay. All right. Well, so he
Idiot.
will be as old as.
shut up.
It might get a little real in this podcast. So he will be as old as Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Right.
Hamill, or Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. He's basically playing the Obi-Wan in this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumors going around with this. There's also a rumor that the guy who played Mr. Smith in The Matrix does the voice.
Hugo Weaving.
Yes.
He's so good.
Supposedly him and the guy who played Gordon in the Batman trilogy.
Oh God.
I can't think of his
Michael
name.
Caine?
No, that's Alfred.
No, Sid and Nancy.
No.
Why can't
Gary,
I?
Gary
No,
Oldman.
Gary
Yeah,
Oldman.
don't say Gary Sinise because the
Yeah.
wrong
Gary
one.
Oldman, like he might be even better than Hugo
Yeah.
Weaving. Like this sounds like
Well,
a really good movie.
supposedly, if you believe the rumors, and one website seems to be more kind of on with the rumors than the others that I've read, they were both up for the same part, and supposedly Abrams wants them both in the movie, and that they've,
would you-
th-
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they've,
I
and
know,
they've,
that would be the greatest movie. ever.
and they've supposedly adjusted to get them both into the movie. I think Hugo Weaving would be great as a kind of the main bad guy,
say
or setting
Sith.
up to be the main bad guy at least in episode 7 or whatever it is you're going to do. I mean, he's got that.
So you guys read I never read the books.
Gary
I
Oldman would be
remember
good old
being
Luke
12
Skywalker.
and looking at the books and saying, "No,
I have them
thanks."
if you want them.
No, but so did they use the term Sith in the books, or was that made up for the prequels?
think they do.
I don't know. I
I'd have
mean,
to go back.
I know there's the
The problem
there's
was there was no Sith. It was all about Jedi.
Yeah.
well there is a 9-book series set right around 30 years or so after Return of the Jedi, and it's set after another 9-book series that follows a kind of a timeline, and Luke's been kind of quote kicked out of the Jedi Order.
But I thought there was no Jedi left in the movies.
No, he
no,
trained-
well, Jedi.
Oh,
well,
did he bring it back?
well,
and
Luke-
reestablish it.
Yeah,
or
the
what?
Luke.
can't explain
Yeah,
the
it's a
universe.
long. We'd have to do another series of podcasts for like a weeks to bring you up on the canon of the books.
But basically, he builds it back up.
He
and then
puts
they
the
take it
Jedi
out.
Temple somewhere else on a different planet. He doesn't go
Yeah.
back to Coruscant for it. And yeah,
And, like his kids are in it. I think.
So Coruscant was in the books.
Coruscant was actually put in by I believe Timothy Zahn in the Heir of the Empire. And then when Lucas went to do episodes 1, 2, and 3, he decided to take and use what Timothy Zahn had put
Really?
as Coruscant, and he used that as. So he did take something from that as
Right.
a thing, but originally it was Timothy Zahn that came up with Coruscant in the
I
books,
didn't know that was
and
the
then Lucas used it in episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
So
It's
Yeah,
very-
you learn something new every day.
It's crazy because there's so much going on in that universe.
I don't think
It's hard to keep it all together.
I don't think really the term Sith really started coming around until they started writing the books after the original 3.
I see.
And then there wasn't really any books produced after Return of the Jedi until the early 90s with the Timothy Zahn trilogy that they wrote, which is really pretty cool because that whole 3 series of books is a very good book and would make a great trilogy.
Yeah, it's
but
a strong story.
it's a strong
Definitely.
storyline, but problem is you'd have to recast the entire lot for it to work because you couldn't do it nowadays.
Can't have Harrison Ford running at the bad guy in his cane. You get back here. So, you should read.
One of my when that reminds me of when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. My friend, before it was named, a friend of mine had a joke that was it should be called Indiana Jones and the Lincoln Town Car.
Nice.
Let's go to Mexico.
It's 4 doors, back seats are
You get,
comfortable.
you get 20 miles a gallon, but you can't go over 50 in it.
It's got a cup holder and a tape deck player.
Have you guys kept up with the soap opera that is the Man of Steel sequel?
I tried to.
My give a crap about that. I'm editing myself.
Whoa.
My give a crap meter is down towards 0 at this point on that.
I
Because
think-
honestly, let's
think they're gonna
be
drop the
honest.
ball.
Man of Steel. Some of the things that people complain about, I think, are invalid or moot points. It's not a horrible movie, but it wasn't a great movie. But it's like, okay, fine, like get the kinks out. But then already with the second one, it's like, nope, you're going in the wrong direction. Like, I mean, it's just not going to be.
It's
good.
hard because
I mean, because if you
we
listen
don't
to,
know.
I mean, I know they've confirmed several people
Yeah.
for
Like
the movie.
Alfred and
Alfred,
Batman,
Batman,
Wonder
Lex
Woman,
Luthor, Wonder
Lex
Woman.
Luthor.
There's also rumors that there might be a character kind of as a cameo playing the original Robin, which would be in this one
Nightwing
they're going to do Nightwing.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many characters do you freaking need in a Man of Steel sequel?
Well, they should just call it Justice League and get it over with.
Or something like Justice League Beginning or Justice League
The beginning.
Year Zero or something.
See,
Because
A
yeah,
friend
they're
of mine
just,
once said that, like a year ago, he said this.
Dead?
And I don't know who this friend was. Like, I don't really remember this at all, but maybe I said it. I don't know. But somebody once said DC is really desperate in trying to keep up with Marvel.
I said
Maybe
that.
you said that.
No, I didn't say that.
well, just from looking what they're doing with casting and who they keep adding as far as characters shows that they're desperate.
Well, and it seems like they're trying too far to go with the. See, we are not going with the mold on these characters. It's like
I have high hopes, but in
N-
the back
I
of my
don't.
mind, it's just
Well,
gonna.
I have low
a feeling.
hopes. That
Well,
movie's
that
gonna suck.
that and they've moved
You
it from its
suck.
original 2015 date back to 2016 now.
Yeah,
so
it's not going to be a good movie.
Like I said,
Because Man of Steel,
I have
I
high
could
hopes,
forgive
but-
a lot of that movie, but I don't think they're going to try to steer it in the right direction. I think they're going to keep going off. And well, first off, Zack Snyder, I don't hate him, but he's just he's not like
well, the last time you talked to him, he rubbed you.
last
wrong.
time he did rub me the wrong way. He kind of acted like he
Holier
was
than
too good
thou.
for me.
Well, I
But
consider
it's-
myself a DC person instead of Marvel, and I want to see them succeed, but I don't think it's going to happen.
You know, they need to quit writing the entire. Not only were at first it seemed like they were writing the entire Superman franchise on Zack Snyder, but now they're writing the entire
Justice League almost.
comic of DC. Because let's be honest, he's done 300 in Watchmen also. They're basically writing the entire company on Zack Snyder, and he's not the man that they should be looking towards.
Well,
Like, he's
you guys tell me what you guys think of this statement. This is Zack Snyder defending what he's doing in the sequel here. He says, "We know the material. Unfortunately, the fans don't know the material, so we're casting according to what's happening in the script, and we're hoping that it leads to enough originality, sorry guys, enough perspective on what we're doing that you get something fresh and exciting. I understand the canon. I'm not crazy. I know what these characters need from a mythological standpoint." It almost sounds like he's being
a good-
defensive because he's
Yeah.
getting the,
Well,
he's
a
like
good
he's
salesman.
he's
He
reading
is.
he's reading the internet and kind of like, oh crap.
He's a good salesman. He is, and I mean that's why you can't totally hate him. Like,
And part of that was also he's also defending later on. He also is basically defending Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You know what? I like him, but
I don't
Come
like
on.
Jesse Eisenberg.
well, yeah, actually, I don't.
He's right up there with Topher Grace for me. I can't stand both of those guys. I hope you're listening, Topher.
He's probably crying right now.
Reggie's take. Why? Why would you have this jerk on?
Then he was like cutting his wrist,
It's because I didn't
letting
hit him.
it spew out in the bathtub. I tried to be a good Venom. I swear.
Why did I quit that 70s show?
I think, like James said, he's a good salesman, and it also sounds like he's kind of setting himself up for failure. But I hope not. I think that he's probably under a lot of pressure
Oh, I'm sure
for
he
this to
is.
succeed, because this will set up what kind of Marvel already has. They're Avengers. They're
Right.
all
I
their
think if
characters
this
are
movie
doing-
bombs, they're
Or X-Men.
probably gonna let him go at that point.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Man
he's-
of Steel, it made money, but the reviews were questionable. They were spotty, and I don't hate the movie by any means, but even I feel like that movie was questionable. Like, I don't know if it was a good movie or not.
I think they had a lot of input from the creators of DC, like comic book people, put in their 2 cents and helped write.
Well, on Man of Steel, they had influence from Christopher Nolan too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they brought him on as a producer, so I mean, I think
Right.
that's where you get some of the tone of that movie too. I mean,
Right. I don't think Christopher Nolan would have written a movie where the entire freaking Metropolis blows up and everyone dies. Like, and then
Hey, there were
Superman
some
and Zod,
survivors.
Superman and Zod do a god fist fight that blows up the rest of the city that made it. Like, I mean, I think that is purely Zack Snyder.
But I also think that's going to set up the tone for the next movie. Like, this shows how, and we've talked about this before, this shows how dangerous it is to have Superman living on
You
planet
are
Earth.
reading way too much into that.
No, we'll see.
Well,
okay, yes.
I
I'll
think-
mark your word.
I think that's kind of where they're going with bringing in Batman, trying to. Maybe I'm wrong,
we'll see.
but
We'll see. But I think that's what's going to set it up. That's going to be the tone for the next movie. Superman's a dangerous person, alien, dangerous alien. Mark your calendars. This happened today, and we've talked about that
we have many times.
on episode.
We've strolled through the park talking about it.
have you guys seen anything of the Spider-Man 2 trailers?
That looks good. And I know last time I was on your show, Reggie, I said that I wasn't interested.
Oh,
in
you
Spider-
made it very clear in the last one or two you were on.
James
that
was
you're-
wrong?
I'm taking that back. This one looked well. The first one wasn't very good.
I didn't mind it.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't very good. It just kind
It wasn't bad, but I think they could have done without certain parts of that movie.
Yeah.
Because it was too. There are certain scenes. If you've seen the original one with Tobey Maguire, it's
it's
like
too similar.
it's
It's
like-
the same movie.
there's parts of it that are too similar. Yes.
It's like his uncle dies and blah blah, and he gets bitten by a genetic spider instead of a radioactive one, and then he has to fight some scientist friend who turns into a big green scary evil scientist of some
Lizard.
sort. Well, on
A
the first
lizard.
one it was the Green Goblin.
Right.
They're pretty much interchangeable villains.
Well,
in
have you
those
seen the
movies.
makeup for the Green Goblin now? They're not going to make him. They're not.
Yeah,
they're
I
not
saw it
gonna
on
do a
Reggie's
mask.
website.
There you
Yes.
go.
I.
I think it's a cool thing.
It
They're
kind
going
of
to make
looks
him into
cool.
a monster.
Yeah, it looks
But
cool.
Basically, a
but they're
monster.
but
It's
they're
odd
using
that they're
doing
going
it
with
with
Harry.
Harry instead of.
That's odd.
Yeah.
That is odd.
I think maybe they're doing it just because to keep everyone kind of I don't know
Keep it
fresh and fresh. and
that
so-
way people will be surprised when Norman Osborn becomes the Green Goblin because we've already seen that. We know he becomes that.
Yeah.
I think they're not doing the Norman because that'd be too obvious, which I'm fine with. I mean, Marvel's not sticking completely to their comics, so why should Spider-Man?
Exactly.
You know what gives me a hard off though? Is that Rhino suit? I don't like the tech Rhino suit.
I'm really hoping
I
that this
don't
is
like
just
that.
the way it's going to be in this movie, and then in the next one they genetically alter.
I like
him.
the actor they got to play him.
Yeah.
I don't like the suit.
I'm really hoping
I-
that that's just going to be for this movie only, and then in the next one when they bring, because he's coming back.
In
He's
the
already said he's going
Fourth,
to be back.
because they're all these enemies that they're bringing
Oh,
in
dear.
1, 2, and 3 are all supposed to show back up in the fourth.
Oh boy.
Because that's basically their Sinister Six movie.
Well, they should make it the 6th. That way they could call it Amazing Spider-Man.
666.
No. They could have the font set up to where at the top it's the Amazing Spider-Man, and then at the bottom the Sinister, and then a giant 6.
People
covering
can't see what
both.
you're writing.
That would be a good font. I'm sorry.
God, you're a nerd.
I know.
And then Kevin Abbott come out on June
6.
16. Oh my gosh.
Well, they're also going to do spin-off movies now too. I think one of them is supposed to be Venom. I don't know how they're going to
Yay,
do
'cause
that.
Everyone.
Loves Venom.
I've never gotten the whole Venom thing. Even when I was a kid. Well, when I was a kid, I liked Venom, but when I got older, it's like Venom kind of sucks.
I
Like
don't think
he's
he'd hold up
not
a
a
movie.
very.
Yeah.
He's the most overrated villain ever. He's not
If they
that
do
great.
a thing what they're doing now,
Like he wants to kill
Thunderbolts,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Whoop-de-doo, so does everyone else. Like,
Well-
what is the big deal?
If they do a thing like in Thunderbolts, is a comic book which is pretty decent. He's a mercenary for hire.
You
where he,
are
like, uses
such a
guns and stuff.
nerd.
I like that. I
But
like
isn't that Flash Thompson Venom?
I think so. You call me? Isn't that Flash Johnson Venom?
I've never actually.
I will
read
go
those,
see
but
Spider-Man. I'm excited to see.
Oh yeah, X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Oh,
I am
here we go.
super excited.
There
Have
goes
you
the
not
rest of the
seen?
show.
Have you not seen the
I have
trailers?
seen it. I'm excited for
It looks really good.
It does.
I love how that movie's been on the longest. That series been on the longest out of all of these.
Mm-hmm.
It's going on 15 years. This is the 7th movie. And this is, honest to God, the first one where they're finally, and they've all been science fiction, of course, but this is the first one where they're finally going into the realm of like super science fiction that the comics would go to every month. Like, it's amazing that it's taken this long for them to do
and
that.
and Hugh Jackman's already said he's coming back for
for the 8th one?
Well, he's coming back for X-Men Apocalypse, and there's going to be
Another
another
Wolverine.
Wolverine movie.
Really?
He's agreed to
I
do.
thought he was done after this one.
No, he's going to be at least in 2 more, which is going to make him one of the longer to appear
Oh,
in.
at that point, he would be doing it longer than Roger Moore did James Bond, which that's something.
Well, even just playing a quote a superhero character. I mean,
That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
yeah,
nice.
I mean, you got no one playing Batman more than 3 times.
You know
Yeah.
what's amazing is when he gets older, how much better shape he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
You know,
I went back
speaking-
and watched the first one, and he's in great shape in the first
you know,
one, but he looks fat.
speaking,
He's not fat, but compared to how he is now,
yeah.
it's
Speaking
amazing.
of that, I happened to be trolling my usual movie website.
You troll.
Yeah, I know. But they showed a picture, and they actually had a side by side of Hugh Jackman from
Oh,
the
wow.
first one,
Yeah.
and Hugh Jackman for this latest one.
Yeah.
And he's in shape. Most of us would kill to be in the shape he was in
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
And then you look at him that he's in now, just got done doing.
He's tore up.
He's completely,
Yeah.
it's like you wouldn't want to run into him in front of a.
Enrique's pants have fallen down.
Again.
They just fall down.
Do you guys know they're rebooting the Terminator series?
Yes. Arnold's going to be in it, too.
Yes.
Well, then
Yes.
it's not really a reboot, is it?
Well,
Well, it has, there's,
What
there's,
are,
it's a
are they going to
prequel.
fight a fat, a fat robot? No.
well, here's the thing. They're supposedly the plot is they're going to be jumping kind of in and around the events of the first 2 movies.
It's like a prequel,
Sequel.
They've already tried
reboot.
that, though, and it wasn't
It's
good.
yeah, and supposedly they're in a hurry to try to get these 3 done, assuming that this Terminator Genesis that is going to be called succeeds. They're going to film the second and third ones back to back because I found out why, and I did not know this. The right to the Terminator franchise goes back to James Cameron in 2019,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
regardless of what they do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't
So
know that.
regardless of what they do, the movie rights
Well,
automatically
that's
go
why,
back.
That's why they made Spider-Man movies these reboots so fast after the last ones because they lose the rights if they don't.
They lose the
That's-
rights no matter what goes on
Yeah,
with these
that's
movies.
funny.
So that's the reason why they're pushing.
Gee.
They're hoping Genesis is successful, and then if they do, they're going to film the second and third ones back to back, and able to get them out in time and not lose.
And then James Cameron can sit on them forever, which would probably be
And still
the
make
best
money.
thing. Yeah.
Well, have they already casted John Connor?
They have
that-
made a cast of. Sarah Connor will be played by Emma Clarke, Jason Clarke. Zero Dark 30, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is cast as John Connor. So yeah, they've made casts
So
of.
they've-
And they're also going to have, instead of Miles Dyson from the second one, they're actually going to use his son in this one as an
Oh,
adult,
that's interesting.
as the tech genius in this, supposedly.
What is Arnold playing, though?
A
Is he
T- a
playing
T-
the Colonel, or
T-
is he going to be...
He's playing a T800 like he did in the first one.
Okay. But
see,
slower.
So they're going to make the. yeah, they are going to make the Terminators.
But see, what doesn't make sense to me, he's playing a Terminator that
Basically to take shots.
that's intentionally been aged.
Oh.
Supposedly, that's how they're going to count for his age. I thought when they were going to do this movie, from when I read this, I thought they were going to use Arnold as the frame and then maybe digitally make him look like
yeah.
he used to be, but they're not going to do that. They're actually just going to let him play it as he is. One of the
Wow.
one of the websites I've read is like, why would you want an aged 60-something-year-old Terminator coming
Stop.
after you
Hey! Hey!
Get off my lawn.
What? What? You guys he says what the whole time? What?
if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Damn you,
Are
John
you
Connor!
said a Connor? Hey, come back here.
I was listening to Nerdist yesterday with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they were talking about the movie. And I'm going to drop a bombshell. He talked about making the movie Triplets, a sequel to the movie Twins.
Are you kidding?
No, Eddie
Please
Murphy.
tell me-
Eddie Murphy is going to be his brother.
Wow.
The premise is he talked about this a little bit. The premise is their mother dies. They
Mm-hmm.
read her will. Danny DeVito's coming back, and it shows that he has another brother, and it's Eddie Murphy.
Does it sound like
James has left the room,
James is in disbelief?
but they talk. It's triplets they're making,
Why
but that
can't-
won't come out until I think, or even start shooting until after this Terminator movie.
Maybe one of those 3 actors will be dead by that.
Well,
Are
Eddie,
you going to kill Danny DeVito?
No, I still like It's Always Sunny. That's a good show.
well, Eddie Murphy is hoping to bring back his Beverly Hills Cop character in Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I don't see that. That wouldn't be a big deal. I mean,
Have you seen Norbit?
I
I
own-
haven't, but I think,
I own
it's
Norbit.
pretty bad.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
he
What? You saw it?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
see it.
from what
It
I've-
wasn't bad.
And you.
It's not off. It's a movie. It shouldn't have won any awards, but it's a good Saturday movie to watch.
Eddie Murphy got the writers who wrote one of the Mission Impossible movies to write the script,
Oh.
and
For Norbit too.
well, No. And
It's stupid.
Bruckheimer, after the Lone Ranger fiasco last year, who was let go by Disney as far as producing movies, Paramount picked him up for a 4-movie deal. And the 2 movies Paramount put him on initially is the Beverly Hills Cop 4 and then Top Gun 2.
Okay, speaking
Oh,
of Lone
Top Gun
Ranger,
2.
if you don't mind,
No, no,
I'm going
that's
to go
fine.
back to an older
Now,
conversation that we were
before you
having
get too
earlier.
far, I have not seen the Lone Ranger movie
I
yet.
haven't either. But here's the deal: we're earlier we were talking about the problem with Hollywood and how they're out of ideas, and we were saying maybe the audience is only fishes for. We left out a third problem that's going on, and is that these movies are so expensive nowadays. And Man of Steel made more money than God, and it still didn't make really enough for Warner. Like, because these movies are so expensive to make. And eventually, they're going to have to dial back a little bit or else they'll bankrupt themselves.
Well, see, what I don't understand is the Lone Ranger movie, and I haven't seen it, although I
That
plan
was
to watch.
another very expensive
cost like
movie.
almost $250 million to make a Western. Where in anyone's right mind does a Lone Ranger movie need to spend $250 million to make a good movie?
Most of that went to
doesn't.
Johnny Depp.
I would disagree with that.
I'm guessing
I
he
don't
got
think so.
20, 25 million to do the
I think
million.
he got a lot of money.
But,
out of it.
but it still shouldn't, even accounting for his salary alone, or even if you take his salary
They're not going
out
to
of
pay
the-
him $200 million.
out
That
of the
goes to
equation.
explosions and CGI and stuff that you just don't need.
Even taking his salary out of the equation, that movie shouldn't even cost $100 million to make.
Well, even John Carter, there is no reason why that movie should have been that expensive. Especially when you're doing a movie that has never been made as a movie, that's been a series of books for like almost 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've never made a movie of it. No one has ever made a movie of it before. Why are you going to spend that kind of money on it? Make it a little, dial it back, make it a little lower budget, because honestly, I didn't think it was a horrible movie.
Mm-hmm.
If it would have been that quality of, and I'm using air quotes, storytelling, with a lower budget, it probably would have done okay. It probably would have made some of the money that they spent making it.
I haven't seen it.
Don't.
because I've had a coworker here where we work at went
You
and
work
saw.
at a place?
Yeah, how about that? Reggie'sTake.com does not pay the bills. Went and saw the Lone Ranger, and he said it was deplorable.
Really?
But from everything I saw in the trailer made the movie like, I want to go see this. But then, even though it's technically made a decent amount of movie if you add in the worldwide totals, but for what it cost, it didn't make back what it cost to be made.
Yeah.
I just don't see how, the trailers made that movie look so good that we're like, ooh, I can't wait. I want to go see this. It's like someone made a decent kind of fun Western to go see, but then you hear everyone talking that it's just deplorable.
Well, and there's also a mentality, and I have this mentality of, should Westerns really be full of big explosions? No, I don't think so. Like, maybe, I know The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they blew up a bridge, but it was a small explosion.
Right.
I mean, like, should they be that big kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like, I think the more Hollywood you add to a Western, the more you kind of take away.
But you also have to think.
I mean, I can
how are you
understand.
going to get people in the movie theaters nowadays?
Right.
And with
I can
torrents.
understand getting action into the Western, and I can understand having to use some CG to maybe take out some things in the background you don't want to see seen
you
because
need
of
it.
but whatever. But to $250 million,
That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
that to me sounds way over budget. And they actually stopped production for about a month and a half on that movie because Disney was concerned about cost. And then at some point they decided they let Bruckheimer continue on with making the movie.
Where they were like, he's made 1 out of 4 good Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Why not?
I like the Pirates movies.
All of them?
All of them. Just to spite you.
But yes, you are right. The movies, as far as costing what they make, is getting out of control by Hollywood.
It is.
I think actors should make what I make.
If we're going to speak about budgets in Hollywood, I'm also kind of getting tired of a lot of the remakes that they're planning from the 80s movies. It's like Weird Science is one that they're planning on remaking. Roadhouse is another. It's like...
Why would you... First off,
Why would
Roadhouse
you-
is a national treasure.
Why would you
Why
wanna-
would you remake... That should be...
Well, first of
that
all,
should be
I can't understand why would you
untouched.
want to remake Weird Science.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly LeBrock, I mean, come on. Movie may be over 20 years old,
Whose
but
ass
still.
are we going to see besides Patrick Swayze's in the new... I just don't want to... It's probably going to be some douchebag. Like, I don't want to see that.
I just don't get it. It's like another 5 years. I mean, you'll start seeing all these movies coming out from the 90s being remade. it's
like Ninja Turtles.
Have you seen the trailer for the Ninja
I did see
Turtles?
the Ninja Turtles.
What'd you think of it?
I think it looks fun, and I know people hate Michael Bay and all this other crap.
But he's only producer though.
right. And that's why people are judging it off of the Michael Bay's name's on it. I'm not gonna go see that. It looks awful. I was like, no, did you watch the trailer? It looks fun. It looks like a kid's movie, but like on steroids. So it looks.
It's a Michael Bay movie.
It's a Michael Bay movie.
But my guess is you don't have some of the typical Michael Bay camera moves in there because it's not the same.
And let's
he's
hope
not
they don't
directing
have
it.
like all these. Well, they probably will because it's Ninja Turtles. But let's
Yeah.
hope they don't have any weird racial stereotypes, and that's so prevalent in Michael Bay movies. Remember the two like robots from the second one?
No, second
Pretty
Ninja
bad.
Turtles movie.
No, the second Transformers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
oh, those
Pretty
two.
bad, yeah.
I think their attempt at comic relief, and it just came off weird.
What did you
Yeah.
think of
The trailer?
Yeah.
I actually
Be
kind of
honest
liked
with
it.
me.
I actually kind of liked the trailer. From what I saw of the teaser trailer, I liked the way the turtles looked. You know, they didn't look, obviously they're all digital, but
Right.
now from what I read, they used guys in motion capture shoots to do the action. So there's interaction with the actors, so there's not that weird, and they're not in actual costumes. They're just in gray. I thought the look was kind of nice. I mean, they didn't necessarily deviate too much from what you expect from the comics.
Right.
Not that I've ever really followed the Turtles comics, just from what I've
Comics
seen.
are pretty dark.
Yeah, the comics are very
Yeah.
dark.
How they pulled out a kid's TV show out of it, I don't know.
Money.
I have no idea.
Money.
Yeah.
Money and cocaine.
That's
the
actually. I
80s.
think the Ninja Turtles is actually one of the more successful cartoons out there,
Yeah.
series wise. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been around for a long time, and they reincarnated it several times.
Mhm.
So I think there isn't there even a newer series
Yeah,
out
there's
right
one
now.
running right now on Nickelodeon.
You know what's funny is I think out of the three of us, I was probably the only one age appropriate to be watching Ninja Turtles, and I'm the one who gives the least amount of shit on this.
Well, see, the
You've
Ninja
learned a
Turtles.
lot about life from Ninja Turtles.
You
Did
know,
I?
you know when Ninja Turtles was at its height in the
Turtles
late,
in Time,
in the
great
late
video
'80s
games.
on the cartoons in the late '80s when it's all over TV. I mean, you know, I was in high school, and the only thing that
Wow,
was
you are old.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am old. You know, it was in high school, and my parents didn't have cable. And the only thing on at that time, if you didn't want to watch Oprah, one or two of the other channels would run cartoons.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like, okay, I ain't watching Oprah. So it was either Ninja Turtles, Transformers, or if you were lucky enough, they reran some Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that was really about it. Sometimes I'd watch the Ninja Turtles just because I didn't want to watch Oprah.
Have you seen the trailer, James?
No.
Ah,
You should at least watch
why
the
are we
trailer.
talking?
I will.
Why are we talking to you then?
I had the toys when I was a kid. I had the one that I didn't like when I was a kid was Michelangelo. I thought he was annoying when I was a kid. Raphael was my favorite.
Makes sense.
And then the
'cause
other
you-
two were just
You both are
boring.
a-holes.
Yeah, Raphael molded me into the horrible person that I am today. No, I had the toys. I had what was the brain thing? The alien?
Crag. Don't give me that. You know, Ron. Now Ron's trying to be cool and not remember stuff from the show.
It's like-
Did you see anything of the three original movies they did in the early '90s?
Yeah, I watched.
I watched
They're,
them.
they're okay for
Yeah,
what they are.
yeah.
I mean, if you're not, I mean, they're not today's
Okay,
movies. But
I loved them when I was a kid, but in college, my friend and I were like, "Let's go watch Ninja Turtles," and I was like, "All right, whatever."
see, I watched them quietly on.
So like even in spite of try to watch it, I'm like, man, these kind of suck. Like these aren't very good movies.
Yeah.
I watched all three Ninja Turtles quietly on VCR.
The third
off of
one's
videotape,
pretty
you know,
awful.
rent them quietly. And I was like, yeah, okay, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's how I saw them.
The third one is pretty bad. That's the one where they go in time.
Yes.
But not like Turtles in Time. It's just they're in time.
Right.
And it's terrible.
I think they were grasping at straws on the third one. Really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they were trying to really gear it towards kids.
yeah.
A
At that
lot.
time, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
90s
Just by the
kids
dialogue,
were,
yeah.
Yeah.
were idiots. So like we'd buy anything that had turtles on it.
and it was just a matter of time before someone decided to pull
Oh,
the Turtles
yeah.
back out onto the theater. I mean, with today's technology, there's no reason why
Why
you
not?
can't.
Yeah. Batman's still
I
around.
mean, I may not go see it at the theaters, but I'll definitely wait for it to come out and Blu-ray and rent it or something.
Yeah.
James is giving me that look like, oh my God, you two are crazy.
Let's.
You know what movie I did see that was actually really good?
Let me guess.
Guess.
No, I don't know.
The new Judge Dredd. It's just called Dredd.
I liked it.
That was
yeah.
really.
Carl
I mean,
Urban's pretty good.
Yeah, Carl Urban was in it, and it was really good. I mean, it's the most violent movie I think I've ever seen. Well, no, it's not. I've seen some like Asian movies, but like, it was something.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
it's
pretty
not a bad movie.
No. I mean, he would
It's-
kick
it's-
Sylvester Stallone's dread
Oh yeah.
butt any day.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty brutal. It's good.
I haven't seen that movie yet. So.
It's worth.
You should watch it.
It's
There's
worth a watch.
there's this.
They're making another.
They
one.
have like a super meth on that. That it's called slow mo, and you take it and it feels like everything's in slow motion, and it shows these people high on it, and then they're getting shot, and like blood is like slowly coming out of their arms as they're getting shot, and then the lady,
That's
like he throws
not
this lady out of the or throws one of the villains out of the window.
Spoiler.
And she's spoiler alert. Sorry, people die in this movie. Throws the main villain out of the window, and she's high on he got her high on it before he did. And you pretty much watch her in slow motion fall like 500 stories, and it just goes on forever. And it's pretty amazing.
This is gonna hurt.
One movie you guys are really looking forward to this summer?
Oh, well,
I'm sure-
four
James,
movies.
you go first.
And I'm sure it'll change as the summer goes on. But
Well, really, all four of the superhero movies: X-Men: Days of Future Past, Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, by the way, I think I've said this before. This is now 10 years after the last Spider-Man 2 came out. It's coming out almost exactly 10 years.
well, the first one, the
Spooky.
Amazing Spider-Man came out.
Spooky.
Well, yeah.
Spooky. And then
You guys
Sorry.
need to pull your pants back
That's a
up.
little-
whoa. Don't judge us.
You invited us.
Yeah. And then Captain America looks really good.
Yeah, I'm
and,
excited to see Falcon.
of course, GOG, Guardians of the Galaxy. That looks good too. So.
What do you guys think of them getting Paul Rudd for Ant-Man?
Oh,
And Michael Douglas.
excellent choice.
I can see that. I can see it. I can.
I
wrap
think
my brain
what
around
they're
it.
doing is Michael Douglas is going to play Hank Pym, right?
Yeah, and then Paul Rudd will be his.
Scott Lang,
Predecessor,
the
You know more about it
the
than
descendant, barely.
I do.
I had to read up on Ant-Man when I heard that they were playing. They had hired Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd.
And did you grow as a person from reading up on it?
Enlightened. Enlightened.
I'm actually excited to see what they're going to do with
You know,
the next
I read a
Transformers
list
movie.
on Cracked about, I know, but 5 superheroes that they should have made before Ant-Man, and they were all female superheroes, standalones. And of course,
Wow, those won't make money.
the number one is Wonder Woman, and it's like, yeah, we're getting an Ant-Man before we get a Wonder Woman movie.
Well, that's
I don't
because it's
understand.
DC.
I can see a TV
Well, I
made
don't
for
understand
movie.
why. Like, if they really don't think Wonder Woman will do good, I don't understand that. It's Thor, but a hot chick. Okay, I mean, come on.
I think the costume is holding him back because the costume in the
They
comics
changed
is really
it.
revealing.
But Jim Lee changed it.
right,
made it.
and it's a good costume. But
Yeah, it is.
I don't think you could pull that off in the movie.
Of course you could. Why not?
Nah, you couldn't.
Why not?
I'll have to show you.
Xena Warrior Princess, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
This,
Like,
these-
I guess there were
this
TV
costume's
shows,
a
but-
lot better than those.
Yeah, it is.
Woo!
It's a good costume.
Woohoo! Like I said, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the next Transformers movie.
Yes,
Are you-
I'm
are you
I'm
really
interested in that
excited?
one as well. Mark
Was it one
Wahlberg.
word or two? Two things: Grimlock and Mark Wahlberg.
And it sounds like in this one the basically after what was supposed to be 5 years after
After they kill Shia LaBeouf.
In real life.
5 5 years after the last movie, supposedly now kind of the humans don't really want the Autobots around, so it sounds like they've kind of been made out to be bad guys when they're really not. Sounds like the premise is what they're starting out as. I don't know. But.
Well, then, like in the trailer, it's like you see Mark Wahlberg. He buys a semi.
Right.
Like, oh, I think we found a Transformer. And so I'm interested to see where they go with it.
I was just wondering if that's actually some speculate that's actually Optimus Prime that he changed to hide his look, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
Maybe
It'd be
someone
itch-
gave him a new paint job.
I don't know, but have you seen his new look when he's in robot form, not necessarily his truck form? Maybe have you seen the picture of him?
Yes.
He's a lot more quote beefed up, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Even though he's a robot.
Even
Yeah.
though
Doesn't
robot,
have
they've got him
muscles.
a lot more.
Huge chest.
They've got him a lot more meaner looking in this
Is
one.
Michael Bay directing this again?
Yes, he is.
Okay. I would say-
Paramount threw a lot of money his way to.
Of course they did.
But
Why not?
Here's two things he's got going for him. He got rid of Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf.
That's
And
true.
Well, they got rid of Megan Fox for the third one because she decided to be stupid. And,
That's an awful thing
But then
to
he put
say.
her in the Ninja Turtles movie. So I was like,
Is
Well,
she April O'Neil?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeez.
So right there, it's just gonna. I did like who they got to play Shredder though.
Who was it?
His name escapes me, but he is in The Dark Knight. He's the banker that takes the shot-off shotgun. Like,
Oh yeah, he was also in Heat.
Yes.
Did you
What's
catch
his
He's
the-
name?
Shredder, really?
Yeah.
Did you catch what they may be implicating that they may be changing a little bit for this movie?
I think so. Where they made him.
Where him and supposedly April's father had something to
got it
do with
on.
creating the turtles.
Yeah.
And there's one speculation. The one rumor is, okay, well maybe April's father got turned into Splinter,
That would be cool.
which would be an interesting thing. And there's also thinking from what some critics said said from the first look of it is they maybe like Shredder had intentions of being good, but then something's happened and he got overlooked and
Now he's evil.
has turned to evil or will turn to evil by part of the movie. So
So it sounds a little dark. Then.
yeah, it sounds like they're doing the superhero twist nowadays. A little bit darker, but they're still trying to keep it
With kids.
kids.
Because I think, like, even with Iron Man, it kind of showed you can go a little dark, but still
Keep it-
sell toys, which is good for us.
Well, even the last two Dark Knight movies. I mean, there was toys all over the place, and those
Yeah.
two movies were.
Well, The Dark Knight Rises had toys, but they sucked. I mean,
Yeah, I
they were
didn't.
some crappy toys.
were you in
Sorry,
line? Were
sorry.
you in line complaining to the cash register?
Ma'am, ma'am,
This
ma'am.
Bane isn't flexible
Yeah.
enough.
His points
The
of
Joker
articulation
had
are
16
ridiculous.
points of articulation, and this one only has 12.
Don't waste my time.
and the lady at Toys R Us is like, go away.
Sir, I didn't finish high school.
Sir, you're a grown man. Get out of here. Is
You
Toys
can
R Us even a store anymore?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Oh,
out
okay.
east.
It still exists.
The toys are either $12 for a little action figure or $50 for like
The 12-inch.
like a 12-inch, 40 points of articulation.
Yeah.
Real.
You know how
cloth.
much cocaine I could buy?
You know how much those action figures used to cost, like for like Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
For like when Return of
5
the
or 6
Jedi,
bucks.
for like when Return of the Jedi was out, it was like $2 something for those action
Oh,
figures.
the old,
wow.
Old ones. I'm
Okay.
talking about when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
What was that Kenner back
Yeah,
then?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
Yeah,
so.
and nowadays there's like $7, $8. The last time I looked
Oh,
at
even
Star Wars
more.
action figures, some of them were even $9.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not
ridiculous.
buying that. I haven't bought toys in a long time. So. On a regular basis, I've switched my toy buying to comic book purchasing.
Well, even those are like, what are they, like $3 to $5 per issue?
I've dialed it back though.
For like something that'll take, what, 5 minutes to read? Like even
10
that's kinda
minutes. I enjoy the pictures.
the art has gotten really
Yeah.
good again.
Yeah.
Read Hawkeye. I know I brought it up last
Yeah.
time. Seriously, that is really good. A lot of good comedy. The art's amazing. The art is really it's really just different looking.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of comedy, a lot of story. And some action, but it's mostly just a really good. Hawkeye's a drunk, and there's like this new girl Hawkeye who's like kind of
Is
taking
that her
over.
name, Girl Hawkeye?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I can't
Girl
come up with a
Hawkeye.
name. Just call her Girl Hawkeye.
Girl
Who gives a
Hawkeye.
crap? We should write a comic.
We could.
Call it Girl Batman.
Girl.
I think on that note, I think we're about done here.
All right, Reggie. Thank you again for having us on
Yes,
the
thank
show.
you.
Oh, no problem.
For having
You
us
guys
on.
are always welcome to come on. I mean, I'm always looking for people to do podcasts with.
Juggernaut that is the Reggie's Take podcast.
It's actually fairly successful, isn't it? Like you've got like 1,000.
You've got 2
hits
viewers.
or something.
Well, the website itself
Listeners.
gets more hits than what my podcast do,
Right,
but
yeah.
Come on, websiters.
Hey, I could almost hit 10,000 hits on my website again for this month.
Nice.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
impressive.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
For me knowing who you actually are, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, thank you guys, Enrique, James. Go out and enjoy some movies, enjoy some comics, keep your pants up, and
No promises.
and we will talk at you guys later. Thanks you guys for listening.